other best of ones this evening, as I need to be heading off. But it is going to be on Dust 2, and I think this is the quarterfinals, so we're getting towards the nitty-gritty stage here of the tournament. I feel coming into this game, eFrag are going to be strong favourites to take this one home. But I'm curious, guys, in chat. As I'm solo casting, I'm going to be trying to interact with you as much as I possibly can. What do you reckon? Who's going to take this one home today? Are you an eFrag fan, or maybe you think that the Finns, the RCTIC, are going to take this one instead? I see a lot of eFrag in the chat beforehand. eFrag, please. eFrag, please. Almost begging to Gaben for those skins. But here we go. We are going to be live on to Dust 2 here. eFrag on the CT side. RCTIC, of course, going to be taking us away from the terrorist point of view. Very slow pistol round as well so far from the Finns. Just going to be stacking that bomb outside of the long doors. 2 players in there. Here comes the pop flash into mid. Saw had a quick peek, but wasn't able to pick anything off after that one. Sagittans spotted himself a player up on A, and that will be Victor. So Victor's dropped down to 16. That grenade could very well finish off the frag. It's not going to, but X7 is there with the Glock to pick up the pieces. And then Saw in mid is going to spot himself action. 2 frags in quick succession. Beautiful Glock work from him. Great round from the Finns. And that plant will go down as well. So, do NKL and Bubble have a chance at clutching this out? To be fair to them, they do have a bit of utility on the side. But they have just expended that HE. So they're going to be pushing into the catwalk. Meanwhile, Sagittan is coming around from behind. NKL tapping across with the USP. There's too many players I have to feel here for them to pick off. It's a beautiful shot from NKL, who then spins around, but there's just too many angles for him to cover. And RCTIC will convert the bomb plant into that first round. Seems like a lot of you are feeling eFrag have this in the bag. Clutch or kick. That's a bit unfair, man. A 1v... what was it? A 2v4, then a 1v3? Clutch or kick. You're that guy in matchmaking, aren't you, Pixel? I just know it. You vote kicking off players left, right and centre. Either way, it's going to be a force spy coming in from eFrag, including a scout and upgraded pistols with Kevlar. And speaking of the scout, NKL has been taken down to half of his health right now. I think he actually got tagged through the doors from Zore's scout there in mid. What a shot that is from Victor. Now, something that you need to come to expect from eFrag is they're going to force buy a lot on both teams. They do it on T's just as much as CT, so it makes for a very entertaining match whenever they're involved. But it can definitely cause them a few issues as well. It's a very hit or miss strat. You can see here, though, so far, it is paying out for them. And, of course, this is a pretty standard thing to do. In the first CT round, after losing that pistol, you can see that Spy Leader just pushed through the smoke in mid, bagged himself a frag, then picked up on the return, courtesy of Zore, who is now the last remaining Finn. And he will be pushed down from Dreamer, who gets his double with the 5-7. And eFrag pick up the force spy, and also convert a couple weapons across as well. So double scouts with a Galil on the side of the Bulgarians. And a pretty healthy buy-up as well. RCTIC is Epiphany. Yes, sir, they are. I'm calling them RCTIC because it's on the screen and it's going to confuse people if I start calling them Epiphany. But it's basically the same team. Either way, RCTIC had a decision to make there. They could feasibly buy up themselves and try and crack the economy of eFrag, but instead biting the bullet, deciding to go for the full-on eco. Just a couple P250s with a smoke and a flash. They are going to be able to rummage together a buy next round, but there's Spy Leader with the UMP. Scout as well coming in. And just to add salt in the wounds, it was the Scout that was picked up from Zore from the previous round. Nice shot from Bubble there as well. There's no Kevlar on the side of RCTIC, so of course the one shots are real with the Scout. Last player is going to be Sagittan. He's got 2 HP left. And I feel like no hope. There we go. He has been put out of his misery. So how are you guys doing in chat? Is everyone good? Scout tryhards. Hey man, Dust 2 is one of those maps where scouts are ridiculous. Interestingly enough, I thought that RCTIC may very well try a force up in this round with like Tech 9 armor or something like that, because they'd be able to do similar strats going through into the next rounds as well. Instead, go for a double eco, which is not something you see a great deal of on the T side these days. Like on CT side, I feel it's a lot more viable. Look at these grenades, though. As I'm talking onto Catwalk, it's just a spray down from Spy Leader, who bags himself 4 frags there, and then there was a nade kill before that. I think that was from Bubble. But at least now, RCTIC, because of their 2 previous ecos, are able to get themselves an AWP and a healthy buy. So let's see if this is going to pay out for them. The caster is blank. I is very Russian. I come from Russia, and I rage at everyone. I love you too, Crafting Mouse. Who are you, caster? I'm at this. I think it says at the top of the info thing. Or does it say my Twitter? Oh, it says my Twitter, right, got you. I'm at this. Anyway, the reason I'm kind of waffling on is because Dust 2 is one of those maps, right, where the terrorists are going to look to just try and occupy mid, feel out the enemy, see if they can get something down onto the CTs, and then with like 30 seconds to go, typically you'll start to see them make a move onto either Catwalk or go through mid, unless it's a fast B push. So it's not the most entertaining map to cast, in all honesty, especially when you're solo casting. But it normally makes for... the last 20-30 seconds are normally complete fireworks. And you can see that now. Pushing a bit earlier than I expected, actually, RCTIC. And they are going to pay somewhat for that. But, in fairness, Spy Leader's all by himself on long. He had absolutely no cover whatsoever. Because Frag elected to take Victor through the double doors on long. So... because he pushed so aggressively, he didn't have his teammates back, and in doing so, RCTIC made the most of that and got onto the site. That's a pretty huge round, honestly, for RCTIC. Yeah, first buy-up round with rifles in the AWP, and it seems to be reaping the rewards for them. Just Victor and NKL left. That is a beautiful pop flash from Sagitan, and he will get the frag afterwards. Which now leaves us with Victor, the player that has been pretty much in this position the entire round, and that is up long. He has a Galil. It's definitely worth trying to save from his perspective. The question is, can he save? He's being forced on right now, and Victor is going to get the first frag and just about survive. So that Galil is going to allow them to buy up again this round. In fact, to be fair, even if he lost the Galil, they could still buy up. He had enough funds. He had like 8.5k, somewhere around there. Yes, Yangi, that is correct. I do cast other tournaments, yes. Am I from England or the USA? I am from England, bro. Although some people seem to think that I'm Australian sometimes, which is very confusing to me. I mean, I love Australia, but I don't think I sound anything like an Australian, to be honest. Either way, we are going to have some more action here in this round, with both teams having rifles lining up for Spy Leader. He did just catch a glimpse, I think about a millimetre of a shoulder peeking through, so he tried to convert that into a frag. Sagitan gets out for free. Typically, a lot of teams will have a double stack on long there, but again, it's the timing. At first, you're going to double stack it, then the AWP's going to pull himself back to a spot that Cajun B loves to run on TSM. That's on the car, looking to the catwalk. He's one of the best players in the world at holding down that position. And because they waited a good 30-35 seconds, there was no double stack on long, so you saw Sagitan just pushing through, gets himself to free frag, but Frag get the better side of that trade as they find themselves a player up 30 seconds, and almost a carbon copy of last time. RCTIC are going to get onto this site. And again, it's because Spy Leader pushes up through long, tries to get round the back of the terrorists. So the retake is in effect. He's been picked off. And for me, Frag, they're rotating way too early. I understand wanting to play aggressive, but RCTIC have done this twice now. Surely you have to fill in these gaps. NKL gets the frag onto Saw. That was a key frag, and I feel Saw probably should have had that as well. But Twister's there to pick up the pieces. He's been picked off from Dreamer. It's all on Zore with the AWP. There's the first frag. This would favour him. The bomb is planted for him as well. It's been faked. The M4 spray down in effect. Dreamer has no smokes or flashes, and he has to go for the kill, and Zore connects with the AWP. 3-3 is the scoreline now. And the last 2 rounds, honestly, for RCTIC have just came off the back of poor decision-making from Frag. I'm waiting for the caster to yell goal. You what, mate? Different sport, bro. Although my team are playing tonight, I'm casting while they're playing, so I can't see them. It's Newcastle against West Ham. I'm hoping. I'm praying. Here we go. Anyway, Victor is going to get the first frag and the second, looking for a third, but it's Bubble that will pick that one up. Heavy damage was done from Victor, though, in fairness to him. Twister has answered back with 2 frags, keeping this round interesting. And again, this was a forced buy round from eFrag. You can see they've got a CZ and a 5-7 in the hands of Spyleader and NKL, respectively. Dreamer's in a perfect position. Went straight up through B tunnels, trying to choke out the terrorist. I'm really surprised that Zori would still be checking mid when his teammate definitely saw where Dreamer was. But maybe it's the case he's trying to get a cheeky frag before he's pushed. He wasn't expecting Dreamer to go straight in. That being said, though, that is going to leave RCTIC now in an eco round and 1 round behind. It's a Dendis. That's not going to happen, bro. Something tells me that'll be frowned upon. Spy leader right through mid, the ruthless aggression with the second frag as well. This is all because they know it's an eco round. I feel if they even half expect that there's going to be rifles in play for RCTIC, you don't push mid there. It's respecting the fact, or I guess disrespecting the fact it's an eco, I should say. But a good call from eFrag, realizing the economic situation from RCTIC. And this will bag them their 5th round. And this is a kind of map as well where I don't feel it's particularly one-sided, either CT or T side. I'd say it's slightly favoured towards CTs, but of course a very good terrorist half can still pick up a bunch of rounds. So I'm going to be interested to see how this half finishes. Again, coming into this game, I think a lot of people, myself included, would expect eFrag to win this best of 1. But the best of 1 format in itself can cause upsets. For cheeky Nando's, mate. Camp Farsh, why do they push? Because it's an eco, bro. You'll see a lot of teams doing this. It's just to keep the terrorists on the back foot. You can't get settled if you're worrying about potentially CTs coming up. It forces at least 1 player, potentially 2, to watch the mid push to start off with. And of course that then weakens your push through the long doors or through B. So it's mind games from eFrag. They're not trying to be too predictable on their CT side. Again, it was a good call, and they picked up the round with ease, so you can't really fault them for that. Sagitan only has himself a Galil. There's still 4 smokes in play, though, for RCTIC. That's more than enough to work off, and the fact they've got an AWP in play as well is always solid. Bubble on his own AWP, and double stacking mid here from eFrag. So that's going to leave B a bit vulnerable. You can see Dreamer's the 1B player, and he's watching mid right now. Now, on paper, that looks like a bad decision, but the way he's currently positioned, he can easily rotate to B and try and fend that push off if he starts to realise the push is imminent. And they've got 2 players there that can quickly rotate, but it's going to be about RCTIC just pushing out here, and I feel like this is a massive mistake from RCTIC. They may end up getting a couple frags off this, and indeed they are, but why is that player not coming through B earlier? Saw. You can see they stacked mid, and Saw was like positioned to go through on B at the same time. I feel like you need a 2-pronged attack there. Either way, though, they are going to get the upper hand in this round, just purely off the back of better trading, even though they lost the first player. And there's 2v2. There are 2 defuse kits, but that's it. There's no utility for eFrag to use, and that's going to be an issue, especially when there's an open play in the hands of Zore, who's already shown he's capable of pulling off craziness. And there's 3 frags this round for him, but what a 1v2 clutch from Bubble! From the doors, spins around, headshot, headshot, and the 6th round for eFrag. Let me check my mic 1 second, bros. I play a game called Rocksmith, and it absolutely derps my microphone, so I'm just checking to make sure my levels are okay and it's not clipping or anything. I think we should be good to go. Ruben, am I all good, man? Okay. Sorry, Ruben's a production guy. I'm not crazy. I'm not speaking to my alter ego. Honestly. I am crazy. Okay, thanks, mate. You got my back. You've got my back. And speaking of no one having backs, Victor doesn't need anyone to have his back because he's just going to be tapping down with the M4. Gets himself 2 quick-fire frags, and just like that, shuts down this potential eco push in from RCTIC. Now, as you heard, this is an eco. Not the end of the world for RCTIC, but still, this is going to put them 4 rounds behind, and there's Victor to get his 3rd. Very nicely done. 7-3. Two guys watching windows. GG. Well, I think it's because they picked the player off in tunnels beforehand, so they're kind of expecting it's unlikely both CTs would be coming from tunnels. Unless you mean there's two players watching window, and he just pushes through the doors and wrecks them both. And in that case, I guess I could agree with you. But I still feel that Bubble just pulled off a crazy play. Like, you can't really factor in for a guy just tapping around the corner and getting two insta headshots. They're pretty crazy stuff. In UK, every time is raining. I can confirm that, bro. I can definitely confirm that. I'm going to try and pronounce your name right. I'm probably going to derp this. Zizia, is that right? It's always raining, but I quite like it. I'm from England, right? I was raised in this weather. A lot of people hate it, but I'm quite a fan. Thanks, Mr. Gamefly. Appreciate it. Sorry about your 6 cents. Although it's still early days, bro. You never know. So I'm not sure what the reason for this pause is. I've been told some issues, so that could mean a whole bunch of different things. When I've cast a defrag in the past, there have been a lot of internet issues, so it could very well be that. I'm not sure what Bulgarian internet is like. Probably not the best. So you've got a lot of different nationalities being represented in chat right now. There's a guy from there's a Czech guy, Italian, Canadian. We got people from all over the place. I'm sorry I'm waffling on here, guys. When you're solo casting and there's a pause, it's like the worst thing ever. Because I'm not an analyst myself, I'm like a play-by-play caster, and there's not much to talk about in this game, honestly. I love how the caster is giving his time to answer questions. Abby D, you're basically my co-casters right now, okay? We have this special relationship. But not in a creepy way, don't worry. Bulgarian internet is very good. Really? Oh, okay, cool. Unless you're being sarcastic. It's kind of hard to read sarcasm through text, I feel. It's something you need to hear. But either way, we're right back into the action. RCTIC have gone for the buy-up here in this round with an AK AWP composition. 4 AKs to 1 AWP. And X7, although he did get pretty good ground through on long, and I thought maybe he's going to be able to get the better of Spy Leader, comes out well and truly behind. They line up for Victor like dominoes. He knocks them down. And again, he's shown a great accuracy with the M4. NKL in mid is going to leave Zorre by himself once more with the AWP. He has been a pretty solid player. In fact, he is top fragging for his team. The only player who has more kills than deaths for RCTIC, or Epiphany, as they're also known as right now. But an AWP versus 5, I don't like his chances. Especially not considering where that bomb is currently placed. On long, it's being covered by 2 players, and it's Victor and Spy Leader. And in fact, you can actually add another 2 players to that, because here come Bubble and potentially NKL. The stack is real, 40 seconds left. And with the economy being the way it is on CTs, even if he gets a couple kills, it really means nothing here, Zorre. He's not going to force anyone into a force buy of like a 5-7 or a FAMAS. It's going to be straight up solid buys from here on out from eFrag, but it's a nice first shot from NKL. Or I should say onto NKL. Flash through as well. He's going to go for the repeat. There's the second frag. 10 seconds left. He's about to get forced down. Can't connect the third. Nice try from Zorre. But just a drop in the ocean. 8-3 is going to be the score. Not a fantastic amount of economy for RCTIC, although they could buy up here. They have the round loss bonus coming in. But of course, with that kind of economy, you're not going to have any AWPs. And AWPs are pretty crucial on Dust 2. Finland guy. I don't know, are you saying I'm Finnish? Oh, well, I suppose you're talking about RCTIC here, as they are a Finnish team. Speaking of RCTIC, Zorre again is going to be connecting some shots. He's on 11 for 8 now. Runs back to pick up the bomb. But look at how fanned out the terrorists are. In actual fact, Spy Leader is coming up from behind on Saw. So even if, I was going to say, even if Dreamer doesn't get this frag, Spy Leader that was there, you can see him right now, was there in position to strike anyway. so it doesn't make a great deal of difference to Saw. But the fact that they had 3 players across the map, no one together, is a bit of an issue. Finally, they do group up on long, but it's just a spray down from Frag. And, well, there's not much to talk about here, boys and girls. This has been very, very one-sided. The couple rounds that RCTIC got in rifle rounds were onto A through Catwalk, when Frag over-rotated and pushed through long way too fast. But, as I said, Frag need to stop that from happening. They need to plug that gap. They have. And from there on in, it's been smooth sailing for the Bulgarians. Easy rounds for them. Do you dual cast over Skype? Now, I typically use TeamSpeak. I do dual cast for other tournaments, but today I'm flying solo to help my buddy Ruben out. Known Ruben a long time now. As I'm speaking, though, here's a clean-up on aisle 3, and RCTIC were in an eco round, so there's no huge surprises there. It's going to be a good enough economy now to get an open play once more, with AKs, with the full grenades as well. I'm feeling like maybe a fast push would be in order for here from RCTIC. Try and work mid a tiny bit more. We haven't really seen them smoking CT too often and pushing through. I think there's only one time, if memory serves me correctly, where we have seen RCTIC go through mid. And they ended up losing it, but they at least got some frags. They at least made it a competitive round. And hey, maybe Sagiton can hear me. It doesn't seem to matter anyway, because he gets completely crushed by Spy Leader, who only lost 26 HP in that confrontation. So a good trade once more from Frag. RCTIC, for me, if they want to stay in this map, they have to get the next 2 rounds. And even then, 5 rounds may not be enough on T-side. Here we go. They're going to be going through Catwalk, dropping down. This is the strat that saw them take 2 rounds before and be victorious. They line up for NKL. He gets both and survives on 3 HP. Are you serious? He's still alive in our X7. Caught between a rock and a hard place with that bomb planted. Because what makes that even worse, they plant the bomb for short, which is away from X7, and then the 2 defenders on short both die. So X7 was like, thanks guys, I now am absolutely boned. And indeed he was. He might use his mate is probably why he's told he's Australian. English people use it all the time as well, dude. See, I was going to say mate again, but then I switched to dude instead, because you've made me very conscious of the fact that I say mate too much. I cry every time. Good shot, though, from the AWP of Zore. Saw's going to get traded out. And just like that, once again, Frag are back in pole position, although typically a 1-for-1 trade will favour the terrorists. It splits the CTs up that much thinner, especially on a map like Dust 2. But the way that Frag have been playing, I really don't think it's going to make too much of a difference here. No disrespect to RCTIC, but they have been outclassed today so far. I don't think that's an unfair statement to make. Here comes Twister, up to long. Looks like they have decided, look, the only thing that's been working for us semi-decently is Catwalk. Let's just keep going there over and over again. And judging by the setup of the CTs, this could be the best decision. Victor, though, in the off angle behind the barrels, is going to pick up the frag. And you could see, very unfortunate for Twister, he was checking behind the door. He was worried that someone might be hiding there instead, and doing so, it cost him his life. Sagitan's going to get the bomb planted. It's going to be for long as well. It's not the best plant, but it should be okay if they can get this next frag. The jump shots are real from Spy Leader. He gets it so cheeky. Zore's your last remaining player. Picked up 2 frags. He could be on for the ace here if he can clutch this one out. He's being pushed from his side. He can't hear it because he's too busy focusing on the bomb. And that, ladies and gents, is a 12-3. And for me, that is Frag taking away this map. This is not a 12-3 halftime scoreline that you're expecting to see on Dust 2. But maybe I'll be proven completely wrong, and RCTIC will have the best CT side ever, and they'll end up winning this. Maybe I'll be completely wrong, guys. Stranger things have happened. This is Counter-Strike after all. What tier is this? Zeal, I've never been a big fan of using tiers, honestly. I feel it differs depending on people's opinions. I think Frag have the potential to be a really solid top tier team, in my opinion. Right now, they're not quite there. But I think they have the potential over a period of time. If they keep playing and they keep, grinding away, they could definitely be up there. RCTIC, I'll be completely frank with you. I think I've casted them twice before over the last 2 years. And I don't know much about this team. I'm going to be completely honest. I think it's important to be upfront with you guys, not pretend I know a great deal about them. I've casted them a couple of times, especially, I think I've casted Zorre like 2 or 3 times in different teams. And they're a pretty solid team, but let's get back on track with the action and not have me waffle on while the kills are coming down. Victor is going to pick up the headshot. As you can see, it's a 2-on-2, heavily favouring Frag though, because both of the fins were low. Make that just X7. It's got 17 HP. Make that 0 as Victor puts him down with authority. The headshot from the Glock is too strong. And a 10-round deficit comes into play. RCTIC pretty much have to go for the force buy here. And that's what's going to happen. So, if they can win this force buy, maybe dreams become a reality. Very slow to buy, though, some of these players. In fact, 2 of them have not gone for armor. So that's a bit strange to me. Like, you either all need to force, or none of you. Maybe they're playing for the AWP coming through, but the fact of the matter is, it's already 13 rounds. You're going to be getting the AWP on like a 15-3 scoreline. Is that really worth? That being said, though, it may not make a whole bunch of difference, because RCTIC are falling. And pretty quickly as well. There's a player in pit. That's going to be Zorre, but he throws up the grenade just as he's pushed. Very unfortunate timing for him. I thought for a second, if they both run past him, we can see a double frag coming in and the weapons traded across to RCTIC. Not the case. X7 is your last remaining CT, and he is put down by Bubbles Scout. 14-3. Only Zorre double digits. Only Zorre with a neutral kill-to-death ratio. Makes for pretty sad reading, actually, if you check that scoreboard out for RCTIC. Other than Zorre, no one else has really shown up to the table today. And here comes the force. Which further makes me a bit surprised. Like, if you're going to save and then do nothing with it, it's kind of sad times. This is a great start, though, for RCTIC. They've got themselves 3 frags. Make that a 4th. The bomb has been dropped. Could we see some heroics from RCTIC? Could we see something special? This is going to be their round. Unless they absolutely derp here and throw it huge, Bubble will not have this. The bomb is in the perfect position for them. The pop flash, beautiful, and a good headshot as well. Solid round for RCTIC. Stacking catwalk, catching E-Frag in transition. You saw a couple players had grenades or their knife out as they're rushing around the corner. That's a bit of a misplay from the Bulgarians, but you can only beat what's in front of you, and RCTIC definitely did that. So E-Frag with the force will have enough to have 4 AKs and a Tech 9, although Victor's on pretty much no grenades. There's still plenty to work with. And RCTIC with 2 scouts, I mean, this is still not great for RCTIC. You look at the weaponry, they could easily get picked off. Sagitan goes for that early peak, does get the trade out, but again, that may not favour the CTs, especially when you consider that there's still 2 scouts in play. And if E-Frag smokes are on point, that's going to neutralise the scouts completely, and then retaking with scouts, not the best of weapons to do that with, so it's get a bit sketchy right now for RCTIC. Trade out again on long. Saw gets one before being picked off from Dreamer, who's now pushing onto that side. It's going to get the bomb planted as well. And here comes the problem. This is exactly the situation I was talking about. It's a 3-on-3. Yes, Victor's low, but there's 2 scouts on the side of RCTIC. Now there's only 2 scouts. Like, what do you do with these 2 weapons? Unless you happen to be an absolute god with this, this is the terrorist round. And there you go. It's just easy peasy, 15-4. So, do we have any believers in chat that maybe RCTIC can pull this back to overtime? Is there anyone in chat that's bold enough to say yes? I'm curious. Me personally, just being realistic, this is over. And it has been probably since half-time. Sagitan's done this a couple of times. It's going to get predictable, I have to say. Free frag. They're already tapping there. Like, they're pre-aiming that position because they know it's likely he's there. Double catwalk stack again from the CTs. Me. Do you actually believe that, though? Do you believe it? I'm not so sure, man. In terms of positions, I would say that RCTIC nearly have this nailed. The only thing I would say is I would like to see another player go mid. They have nobody watching mid just now. This could be an issue for them. And Zori went for the aggressive peek into tunnels, trying to get the information. He got picked off. Here's Dreamer and Spy Leader both getting frags on catwalk. It's a 3-on-1, make it a 3v0. 16-4 is your final scoreline, ladies and gents. Pretty one-sided game, not the most entertaining to watch, and I'm sure some of you are feeling the pain a tiny bit there. But eFrag, they showed up today. They performed solidly, deserved the win overall. So, when's the next game coming up, Ruben? Is it literally like every single hour we have a best of one? Right, so the next game is in 25 minutes, ladies and gents. So, that's me done for today here. Divine's going to be stepping in to cast the rest of them. I'm off to cast some other things. And so, therefore, I hope you've enjoyed. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so at MedisTV. Or you can follow my lovely producer / cameraman / beast. That is Rauben. And that's Rauben TV, right? I've got that right. Cool. Rauben TV. So until 25 minutes time, guys, we are going to be on a break. And then when you rejoin us, we'll be live for more best of ones. I believe the next best of one is Dobry Gaming versus Pitta. That should be a really good match, actually. After that is XPC versus London Conspiracy. And then Phenomenon versus Public Law. I'll see you later. Wait, did I say that? Phenomenon. I can't say that word. This is a really awkward time for me to find out I can't say that word. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. I'm done.
Introducing Strafe. Now it's easy to keep track of all your esports. With Strafe in your pocket, it's less hassle and more esports. Download now on iOS and Android.